So
Oh,
So
I'm so glad I hit fucking record. I'm not hosting this shit. You guys do it today. I'm gonna play passive role.
welcome to the Link Cable Podcast, your home for entertaining stuff besides video games. I'm Kinnan.
I was gonna say what? I'm Jackie.
Chris.
And Chris has no energy today. All right, so what's up, guys? We have had another weekend passes by. It's a pretty good weekend, actually. We unfortunately gotta get together with Jackie sometime, but we've had a pretty big party. My son's birthday was there, and we had some people come over, and it was a pretty exciting time.
Aw. Sounds good.
Yeah. Next time, Jackie.
We are like right in the middle of renovation hell. Like getting all new flooring and baseboards for the upstairs and all that stuff this weekend, and it's hoping to list it right after March break. So
Are you
that
installed?
No. God, no. No. We are paying somebody to do it, so I'm okay with that. Austin's painting, so there's a couple more rooms that need to be painted, but flooring, I'll leave that to the professionals.
Painting was back-breaking work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no interest in that. But other than that, that's all we've been doing here.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for coming out, Jackie.
No worries. We got some stuff we got to figure out.
You know where I come from. Thanks for coming out is not a positive.
Oh.
Thanks for coming out.
I meant it that way.
I know what he meant. You don't need to be like that.
So,
on that note.
Speaking of positivity, how's the Resident Evil thing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We made a deal.
We did make a deal.
What was the deal? What was the deal first?
The deal was that I do a full complete on the second hardest level of difficulty. And that was pretty underwhelming from Tim's point of view because there was really only the 3 levels of difficulty, so I played it on normal pretty much. But I did it. I beat it. It's dead and over with.
Yeah. How is it beating something that many times? Sort of like, the thing is, like, for Resident Evil 7 when I did that, there isn't a lot of variety. It's the one game. There's no multiple playthroughs, right? It's just like platinuming it was a bit different, I guess, with different
difficulties. It would have been.
But this one, I think I had in mind what I thought it was going to be. Obviously, that changed once the game actually came out, which is a little disappointing. The major thing, I think, is that the reverse scenarios don't really change the game very much.
At all.
Yeah, which is a big change from the original, right? Which that was the cool thing about it, the zapping system. And they hinted that would be sort of what would be in the game, but it really didn't end up being. I don't know if they did anything like zapping system, which kind of sucks. It sounded like they cut a lot of content. There was like someone posted some dev interviews. There's like 2 parts on YouTube somewhere where they go through like the development and which is cool that actually exists so soon after the game came out. But about different things they cut, and like first or third person view was cut, and like first person view was tried, and it's kind of neat to see all that stuff. And no doubt the PC versions we're already seeing some cool mods. So someone's probably going to do that at some point. But yeah. So not too difficult, I guess.
Cool mods are you talking about, Tim?
Well, we've all, I think maybe we mentioned it on the show, but the DMX going to give it to you music mod, which is obviously sort of sort of obvious as an idea. And then, of course, the Thomas the Tank Engine replacing the model. And then, inevitably, X going to give it to you combined with Thomas the Tank Engine. It's like pretty amazing. So that's not enough to get me to pick it up on PC. But if they some really cool mods came out, maybe, and more DLC, maybe I'd get it on PC. It seems like the definitive version if you were gonna, go that direction.
Takes away from the integrity of the game.
That is true.
Evil 2.
That is true. Who knows what they'll put in the place of X? But yeah.
Jackie, like, was it all worth the time? Like how much time did you spend on this? Like,
I don't know, because I think when Tim played, like, you pretty much devoured it over the course of a weekend, right?
Yeah. But I didn't do both playthroughs.
Oh, you didn't?
I just did the one. I did like New Game Plus with another character, and that was it. I didn't go back through the reverse order.
Oh.
Because I had already known at that point that it wasn't that different, and I was pretty disappointed. So I was like, eh.
For whatever reason, I assumed that you did all that.
No.
Yeah, no. I don't know, because I did it in like bursts where I would sit down and I would play it for 2 hours, and then I'd be like, oh, I don't want to touch this for a week, right? And then whenever I picked it up again, I'm like, how am I playing this again? Like, oh god. Because I was like, where was I? What was I doing again? Okay, right. So probably more time than it should have taken, but I think each run through, depending on the Claire, both runs with Claire, I was faster than I was with Leon. Even though I did like Leon, Claire. I don't know why I was always faster with Claire. I think I kind of liked her weapons better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was around 6 or 7 hours per playthrough. And that's not including the times where, like, you screw up, you mess up, you have to back out, start again. So I don't know, long enough. And then I tried some of the side ones too. So, like the DLC, I tried a little bit of that. I didn't get as into that as the original game, but by the time I was like fourth run with Claire, I'm like, oh my god, if I have to spend another second in the sewers, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
I feel like the game got a little too linear at the end. I think I mentioned that before. I don't know how you feel about how diverse the game is. It sure is more. It feels a lot more open at the beginning, and
yes,
and that it kind of makes it a little more boring the further you get along. Like I like the beginning a lot better, the first half a lot better than the rest of the game, which is a little too bad. And it's funny, Resident Evil 7 was a bit like that too.
Yes.
The beginning is a lot more interesting than the latter half.
Which is crazy if you think about it, because the beginning in both games, like, you're in a house or the police station, right?
Yeah.
And really it shouldn't feel as big as it does, but it feels a lot bigger. And then when you expand out, when you're like in the swamp or when you're in the sewers or the like nest,
it feels smaller.
It feels smaller and narrow and shitty.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's like they ran out of budget or time or something. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I hope it is Capcom. I hope Devil May Cry doesn't do something similar where it sort of narrows in the end of the game. But it's just strange. I don't know.
Well, and
these really games take a lot of time. So,
like, I really enjoyed my first playthrough. And
for sure,
it was great, and I was like, oh, this is so much fun. But then when I started up the second, I was like, wait a second, this isn't exactly the same. Like, to the point where they didn't even change the combination of the like lockers or anything like that. So by the fourth playthrough, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one's Cap and this one's like, whatever, SFZ. Like, I had them all memorized by the time I got to the end.
Yeah, like stuff that would have been easy, right? Like a little bit. You know what I mean? And same. Well, and then they did go to the trouble of changing the bigger puzzles, like the the emblems, which is like, okay, that's cool. I mean, that's a given.
Yep.
But the other stuff's easier, and I don't know, it's a little bit. Yeah, it felt like they rushed the game out maybe a bit too quick.
Maybe.
Because people were really expecting it, and they needed something, and who knows. So, I don't know. I'll be a lot more wary when the inevitable 3 announcement comes out. And I'm probably still going to get it, but
yeah, I was going to say I enjoyed my first playthrough enough that I would probably play the next one.
I'm going to buy physical.
Yeah. Yes. Well, see, and I did too, but I'm looking at it. I haven't got rid of it yet. It's still there.
No, I didn't. I did not.
Oh, so, no.
Yeah.
I did for like that purpose because I was like, oh, by the time I'm done, I'm going to be done with it. And then Austin was saying that he might want to play through. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, did you not just watch me do this for like a month?
That says something, right?
Yeah. So he's into it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Is he normally into horror games or Resident Evil games or?
Well, he played through 7. We played through 5 and 6 together. He played 4.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't know anything before that because that's before my time. But if we're cataloging our relationship in reference to Resident Evil,
yes, please do that.
Yeah, anything before 4 was before my time, so I don't know how into it he got, but he likes them, and like we like playing them together. Like I know I keep bringing it up, but Dead Space is still like the best horror game as far as I'm concerned. And playing that together was funny because we just pass it back and forth. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised he said he wanted to play it, but we'll see if he actually does.
Did you play Alien Isolation by any chance? Because you seem to be sort of...
No.
Might be something you'd be interested in.
I did not play it.
Curious about your thoughts if you play it eventually.
Should I?
It's sort of a stealthier first person. It's certainly a good horror game. I didn't get to the point where you're not like fighting enemies a lot. You're running away. So I guess it would be more like Resident Evil 2 Remake, but imagine just X is the only major threat, and then there are some other threats, but you're really trying to... There's really not much you can do. Sneaking around for the most part. And things change partway through the game. I think you get some more ways to deal with the alien, but it's cool. I mean, I don't know what got me to stop playing it, but yeah, it was good from the amount I played.
I am not good at stealth.
In VR, it would be amazing. They should really. It is in VR, I think, on PC, but not PlayStation.
So, have we figured out the reward for your endeavors yet?
Yeah, so it's funny because when we talked about it briefly online the other day, and he mentioned Devil May Cry, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just ask him for Devil May Cry. And then I played the demo, and I have zero interest in it now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you play the demo at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I mean, it's great. You'll love it.
I've seen enough of it that I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to
pick it up. It looks good. I'll give it that. But like I don't know. Maybe I'm not a good judge for those because I played the first couple and I really enjoyed them. And then in and around the time of the I think it would have been on Xbox. What would that have been, 4?
Yeah. 4 is pretty old now.
Yeah, it is. Like I think it came out for 360, right?
Crazy, yeah.
So I think I played it on 360 and I was like, eh. And then I haven't really been into Devil May Cry since then. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, 2008.
E3, like make them sweat it, and then E3 comes along, then you'll pick up something.
Yeah, there's no rush.
Well, no rush. No, I think I know what I'm going to get you to get me. It's not out yet, and it is Earth Defense Force Iron Rain, because then I don't have to spend money on it.
Oh, it's one of those. That's a good idea.
All right. Because then I don't have to, but I still get to play it.
Is that even a full price game?
Absolutely.
Hey, it's her choice, Keenan. It's her choice.
Absolutely, it is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, because it was funny because we were talking about. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that, and then I'm like, oh, there's a demo. I didn't even know. And I played demo. I'm like, yeah, no, I think I'm good. I can wait.
So wait, this is a remake of the first one?
No, it's just another one.
They just gave up with 5. There's just like no 6. This is just.
Yeah, no, it's just another one.
All
it's them trying to appeal to a Western audience, so I don't know how it'll go. I don't think it'll go well at all. I don't think it'll go well at all.
It's going to be amazing.
Like I said, I don't need to pay for it.
Yeah, there you go.
I think the release schedule was messed up. Like it didn't work out here, but EDF 5 came out like a year and a half ago in Japan.
Mhm.
And Iron Reign's been in development. And so they just are localized and released here super close to each other just by, I don't know, bad planning, I guess.
Mhm.
Sounds like a Yakuza game.
I was going to say, sounds like EDF.
Boy. Well,
Mhm.
I didn't do much. There's only really two things that I did this week, and one of them is something I think all three of us can kind of talk about. But the other one was on Chris's discussion last week. I ended up picking up the Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions game on PC.
After I talked to you and you told me that, I went and I bought it too.
Sorry, what?
So it's a.
I love. Hey, hold on, before you say, I love that this podcast is like, we're doing deep dives into like bullshit Japanese games that came out like 15 years ago, and also like Glass Masquerade, like the most casual ass. Like it's so funny.
It's casual stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
But it's not even easy to access like a mobile game. It's like on Steam. You got to dig through Steam to find this shit. I've never even heard of it.
But that's like what was the other one? Shadowhand. Before this, everybody was talking about Shadowhand, and then before that was Regency Solitaire, right?
Yeah.
I love we do the dives.
Temetsi is normal in comparison, I think. I don't know.
Temetsi I think doesn't count because it's like at least a video game.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, this is a video game. You do things and things happen.
And in some way, sure.
It's a game where you put back together stained glass windows.
Literally just a puzzle game. Like
it's like Microsoft Jigsaw, basically, except like they're round. They're like
pieces.
Circular puzzles instead of like a traditional kind of like square puzzle, whatever. Like a Jigsaw.
I find the art in this one really hard to follow compared to the first one. Like the first one is based not on this, because this one's based on dreams, and so they're all like a little bit fanciful, right? They're kind of etheric, right? Yeah.
The clowns.
So that was weird. What's up with that clown like intro page? It's so strange.
All right, I gotta see this. What's the game called again?
Glass Masquerade 2. Sorry, Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions. But just the first one was based not on dreams, but on countries. And so you went around on the world map doing countries. And so each country had a theme based on that country, right? So like the Russian one would have like, I don't know,
people drinking
bears or vodka or something. But you know what I mean, though. And so that one, at least I had kind of an aesthetic, a theme to go off of. And this one, I'm like, I don't know any of like, I feel like I'm going more on the shape of the pieces than I am the picture.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I really have no idea what the picture is until I'm like almost finished it.
Dude, that looks like a reference to Stephen King's It. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Well,
what is this? Oh man.
I don't know. There's a lot of Lewis Carroll-y kind of things in there and stuff like that. And just not really my aesthetic, but it is a puzzle thing, and it's kind of well made.
I think I like the first one better. The second one's pretty cheap though too. I don't know compared to the first one. Like it was like $5 or something. I don't know if the first one's cheaper, but I think I like the first one better. But
yeah. Well, if I get through this, I'll maybe pick up the first one then.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Destiny.
But
yeah, I feel that way too, Jack.
Yeah, you feel that way for real?
I'm all over the place right now. I'm feeling like I'm in a loop to get to a part where the game will get better, and I know where that will be is when I'm finally at a high enough level where I can do stuff with everybody else.
Well, apparently that's this week, right? Like there's apparently you can get up to like 6:20 or 6:30 in an hour or something.
Sure.
640 actually.
Which is why I stopped playing.
Well, I'm at 440 right now, so like I still have ways to go to even hit like anywhere close to the cap.
No, but that's what I'm saying is you won't need to, because whatever activity they're releasing, apparently it's coming fast and hard and puts you up really quick.
Even from like if you're at 400?
I think so,
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good.
Like in an hour, they're saying.
I guess I'm still trying to get
Crazy.
my hands around the new class and just like getting back into the flow of Destiny, which I think I kind of am now. I'm getting back into understanding the way to play it again. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good like it's soloing now, and like every single weapon you pick up is, I don't know, it's okay, but it's not anything you're gonna keep. So it feels like every weapon is disposable right now. And I don't know, maybe as you get further in, I'll pick up something that's more interesting. But there was a interesting thing that we did that other day. Tim and I kind of played a little bit later into the night, and he showed me one of the paths to get one of the exotics. And it's this very convoluted platforming thing that I've seen in Destiny 1 being done before, and it's a very interesting level that they have, and yeah, very stark contrast to everything else that I've seen in Destiny, and it was just it's kind of insane what you have to do, but it's still like it's interesting at least. So I think there's stuff there. It's just I got to get to it, I guess. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is. But you're at a hard stop right now, Chris, until that new I guess new add-on is out.
Yeah, there's not really any point in me playing right now if I'm just going to be banging my head against the wall for something that I can fix very quickly next week, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to end up hating it and then burning out, right?
Sure.
Well,
so on that
note, Keenan for you.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Right. I reinstalled. I talked about it before on the show briefly. I don't know why I stopped exactly. Something else must have come out. Pillars of Eternity 2. So this is the sequel to, what the hell's the company's name? I can't remember now. This is one of those, CRPGs.
Pillars of Eternity.
What's that?
Sequel to Pillars of Eternity.
Pillars of Eternity, yeah. I mean, that maybe people aren't familiar though. So it's like an old school, like Baldur's Gate style, isometric view, multiple party members, real time combat system kind of RPG. Big, huge story. A lot of stuff going on under the hood. A lot of like dice rolls you can't see. A lot of mechanics. A lot of AI that sucks. Or you don't use the AI and then you have to micromanage everything yourself. It's cool. I mean, I'm complaining about it a little bit. The problem is, so it was really interesting. What actually got me to reinstall it again was that 3 or 4 of the devs did basically their own mod for the game that's actually in a beta now, where they made the whole game turn-based. It's instead of real-time pausable, it's all turn-based mode. So I tried that for a bit, and it's cool. It's still in beta. It seems to be a way I'd like to play the game because I suck at the other way to play it. The only problem is the game wasn't designed around this. So the amount of work that's going to be required for them to make sort of a balanced, fun game with all the kind of mechanics they had, or translating all the mechanics they had in mind properly, I don't think it's actually doable. Like it's probably going to take a large team to do that rather than just a small group of the subgroup of the developers to do. I think they're pushing for it because I think they're trying to release on consoles, and I think it would work better on consoles to have a turn-based mode. It just makes way more sense. but it's good. I mean, I'm probably going to keep sticking with it. I think I mentioned before, it has this like kind of Gambit AI system where you like program the AI, make it really complicated, and have the game play itself apparently to some degree, or you can just turn the AI off, and then you have to literally tell them to do everything. Which, so if you compare it to like Final Fantasy 12, where let's say you played it without using gambits, it'd be worse than that because you give the character a command and they won't even auto attack again unless you tell them to do it. So it ends up being like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, and you can't really get a feel for what's happening in the fight because it's going too slowly almost. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those games too where you've got to like watch tutorials on how you're supposed to be playing it first before you can actually like do it right. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. If
it doesn't even sound like a good one of those, Tim. Like,
yeah, people who are interested should probably wait until the turn-based mode is completely like properly done, because there's like a good game there. Like right now, it's a matter of me like deciding to like break down and program the AI a little bit so they're not dumb as rocks, but then play the game normally. And the other kind of shitty things, it's been out for like a year and a half. You would have thought in that time they would have spent some time with readability, and there's still an issue of like, oh, there's a monster there. Oh, I'll hover over it and see what its stats are. Oh, I have no idea what that ability is. There's no way to find out what it does. I have to look it up online if I want to know what that monster's like buff is. And all that stuff's really important for deciding like how I should go about like telling my guys what to do, instead of it being like hover over it and you can see what it does. I don't know why that's on the game yet, and it's bizarre that they didn't actually add that to it.
Why Pillars of Eternity and not like Divinity Original Sin 2 or Dragon Age? Like I don't understand why this game, like in particular.
I felt like when it originally was announced, both of them were sort of appealing to more of that, like mixing in that old school like D&D, like these little vignettes where you make decisions based on your, like these little like a page will appear and it has like a illustration on the right, and it'll say you're going down this passageway, and it tells you these, like it does, that's how it does the ability check stuff, a little more nuanced and not so like it's not as much in your face as it would be, I think, in other types of games. That was one thing that appealed to me. I felt like it was a bit of a higher budget. I looked at Divinity 2 and it actually looks kind of cool. I kind of didn't have a good enough computer to run it.
I've heard nothing but great things about
it. Me too. Definitely.
That's why I'm a little bit surprised that you went back to Pillars of Eternity, which has been kind of mixed comparatively. Like, and it's, if you're going to go for one of these games, I think accessibility is a huge part about it, isn't it? I mean, considering how, like, the whole thing about Final Fantasy and all those kinds of RPGs is, and I guess Japanese RPG style, is that it's a little bit simpler for you to manage and everything. Whereas like North American ones have always been like, oh, you got to position somebody here or there, and then like micromanage like how they're going to act and all that stuff. It's really like you really have to be into that sort of control for the entire party, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
If that part's broken, like how is that even like playable then?
Well, I think it's the generally it sounds like most of the people who are into Pillars of Eternity and who like backed the second one like love all that stuff and just are able to overlook a lot of those things that like they'd have no problem going, oh, I'm going to look up what the ability does, and I'm going to like design my characters before the game even comes out. Like that's the kind of people that their main players are. Whereas I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
I don't know, man. You did that with Diablo 2 or Diablo 3 pretty hard.
That's true, but it's only like, one character.
When you were describing that, I'm like, this sounds exactly like you.
You'd think, but it's to a higher degree, I think, where it's like a little bit. And it does frustrate me where I just like, I look at something that should be doable, like hovering over an enemy buff should tell me what it does, and it doesn't, and then it just gets annoying. And then I'm like, is there a button I'm missing? And then I look at the controls, and no, there's no thing for it. And then I look up an internet post on the internet that was from a year ago, and someone's like, can you do this? And then someone's like, nope, they haven't added it yet. Check back in a year. So it's like, what the hell is this? And it's weird because like I see one post like that.
what the hell is this? Why are you still playing this? And
no, this is just the one time. And then the music's awesome, and I like the way it looks, and I like the animation. So there's stuff there that's really good. And I like the story where it's going is interesting. I like how you're like, you have a ship and you sail around the ocean to different islands, and all that stuff is cool. And you have a crew, and you can equip like stuff on your ship and have ship naval combat. Like, I like all that stuff. It's just, there's a couple small issues that I'm just sort of nitpicking on, I guess. But yeah. I tend to complain more than I do talk about things that are great, I think, in general. So that's why when I talk about games, you're like, why are you playing this piece of shit? Every time I talk about something, it's me complaining about it. But no, I'm going to keep playing it. It's cool so far. Just need some loving, that's all, from the devs.
And you, Jackie, anything else that you've been kind of slogging through?
Because most of what I do is slogging through games when I play games. No. So I keep jumping back to EDF 5, playing a couple missions and then not playing for a while. And replaying old games while I wait for something else to come out. Like I'm very much a creature of habit. I tend to play through the same game multiple times over and over and over again. Usually not 4 times in a row like Resident Evil, but you know, like normally there's a good year in between before I go back to an old game. So, and just with everything going on at home right now, we haven't really got into anything new. But one thing I did want to talk about was a bet for Tim.
Oh.
Yeah, fair is fair, man. So,
all right.
So I was thinking about it. Well, because I was looking at some stuff for Devil May Cry. So you're day one for that, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how much have you looked into it?
Not much at all.
Not much at all. Okay.
No, like I didn't play the demo. I know the characters in it, and that's about it. Like I don't.
Well, okay. So
I didn't look at trophies or anything.
Okay.
Oh so God, Jackie, come on.
No, I did, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I don't want to be an asshole about it.
On the show.
Pardon?
I love having Senpai on the show.
You see, you say Devil May Cry Platinum. That's a difference.
No, and I would. That's unreasonable.
Resident Evil 7.
I can flat out say that's unreasonable, and I would not request that.
This is without me knowing anything, right? Like it's just what I know of Devil May Cry.
Well, no, but just in general, I think that's a dick move. Given like, not
it might not be, but
I don't know. Probably. So I don't think Platinum is what I need, but I was wondering if you want to do similar bet, full complete, second hardest level of difficulty.
That feels like it's going to be too easy.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make it too easy. Just a full completion. Like it should be. If it's going to be a full completion, it should be on the hardest difficulty.
Okay, fine. We can do it on the hardest level of difficulty if you want.
As long as it's not.
I was willing to negotiate because you negotiated with me last time.
I know, but I don't want to be a punk about it. I don't want to. It seems like because that's just a regular full clear of the game. Like that's not. It depends on how well. I don't want to just be a time attack, like, oh, I got to do by this date. It's not. But at the same time, I would love to do a platinum, but I know that. I just know. Like, think about a platinum for Devil May Cry. Like, I don't know if people looked at this already. They know it's already ridiculous, or.
Well, I looked at the trophy list. Austin and I looked at it on the weekend, I guess.
Yeah. If it's not absolute nonsense, like I mean, it's going to involve a full playthrough on all the difficulties for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Anyway,
for sure it will. So
you wouldn't have to do something like maybe finish the game in under an hour or something stupid like that.
Or I can veto like a certain amount of trophies of my choice, like a certain number, like 2 or 3 or something. Yeah,
maybe I think that's fair. No, I think
something
that's
like
fair.
So. Here's what you can do: you look at what's available, and then you can kind of come up with the amount that I'm allowed to veto.
Okay, I can do that.
And then we'll just agree to it, probably based on whatever you decide.
Okay, I'm into that.
I kind of like the idea of at least trying to platinum something like Devil May Cry, but at the same time, I know this is one of those games. So
yeah, that's the impression I got looking at the trophy list, which is why I was like, okay, maybe we could do something similar, second hardest level of difficulty, because based on what I'm reading, I think there's more levels of difficulty than there were with Resident
there usually
Evil.
is.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know how into Devil May Cry you are. So, seems like you're a bit.
I can get into it, but I'm not an expert or anything. Like I could get good at it, I think, but and I'd like
You're not
to get
like
good at it, but
cosplaying Nero.
I'm not a combo god or any of these. Like, I'm okay at it. Like
you may need to be. I mean, like, think about it, Tim.
I know.
Like, hardest difficulty. You may need to do that, and you may need to parry because it's an action game, right? And I'm guessing that there's some sort of parrying system.
Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Depending on the character, I think.
So
Totally.
yeah, look at the list. Look at the list. Give me a bit of a challenge. Don't make it too easy, but see how many
not too
vetoes
easy like
I get.
my challenge was, right?
I don't think it was too easy. I don't know. Like it was more. My Resident Evil 7 wasn't that easy to platinum it. It was just a slog.
Yeah, no,
and it'd be nice to have something that's less of a slog and more just like this
fun.
Is actually tough.
Yes.
But it'd be fun if I can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So them's the deals. I will look at it. I'll determine how many you're allowed to veto.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Okay. You're gonna probably look at it and go, I'll give him this many vetoes because it's literally corresponding to these exact platinum trophies, and that's it. It'll probably be something like that. There's going to be obvious ones that I'll look at and be like, yep, not going to do that. We'll see, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's exciting. That's exciting. The only thing is I won't know until later because I'm obviously going to play the game first through and then see
no, for sure.
what they actually are. I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah, no.
I trust you. I
was going to say, and don't, because like there's always story-based ones and everything. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm excited now.
All right. And then same, I guess, pay is I'll give you a brand new game.
All right.
No crazy special editions unless you platinum it.
No, I wouldn't. No. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to do that. That's what you're saying.
Okay.
You're like, I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Cool.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, definitely. I might be in the whole 2 games. That's what I'm worried about.
I don't know.
My wife's going to be like, why you're buying games that aren't even for you?
I think we went
Tim
through
has a gambling problem.
Well, we went through a time with Don for a little while where I think I had to buy him 2 or 3 games in a couple months. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys did the same thing with Austin too.
We got to do more of this,
wasn't it?
Throw another one then. Who else got one? Let's go. Let's get all 4 of us in here.
Well, it'll have to be you and Keenan.
All right. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, man. I ain't the one to be playing games like to completion, man. So this might be a good thing just to make me finish something.
It's kind of fun to kind of explore a game to that degree. Like, how often do I ever do that? Like, Jackie, you're talking about, you're probably the only, well, I think Keenan plays old games again. Like, I don't really anymore.
Oh, yeah, always.
Maybe I'm the only one, actually. Like, it's interesting, like, what, I wanted to ask you when you mentioned that, like, what games do you find that you go back to the most often?
Mostly RPGs. When I feel like I'm flogging a dead horse here. When we actually had the PS3 like hooked up and stuff, we did go back and play Dead Space a few times. I've gone back and played like Kingdom Hearts. I've gone back and played, some of the older Final Fantasy games. I like every now and then picking up Ratchet and Clank and just going through that too. Like any of them really. All of those ones are good.
Is it all Dead Spaces or just the second one or something like that?
You know what? It's funny because that was when we were talking about it the other week. I looked it up. I didn't realize in my brain right now that there was a third Dead Space. Austin maintains that we played it. I don't remember it at all. Like I heard
something about planets and like the planets coming together or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. So I don't know that I played it.
Supposed to be pretty bad.
The first one was the scariest. The second one had more like jump scares in it, and it was like less. Like the first one, you actually had to like be careful not to waste ammo and everything else. The second one, not as much, I don't think. So we used to go back and play the first one more often, but I don't know. Like I've got a ton of games every now and then. It's like, oh, I'm gonna play, Final Fantasy for the 8 billionth time, or Dragon Quest. I've gone back and played 8 a few times. Persona games I played a few times.
Wow. So not even those aren't short games either. Like,
no, never a short game.
The games are like 60 to 80 hours for you to replay them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And usually when I start playing it, like I finish it before I put it away and move on to something else.
Keenan, you should pick an old game that you want to play again, but you've never played a ton of, and then have to platinum that.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, I got an idea.
Symphony and Rondo.
Okay.
Has a bunch of trophies.
Keenan, I got a trade-off one for you. One Piece World Seeker comes out on the 15th. Okay.
Yeah. Are you trying to make you hate One Piece for the rest of your life?
Yeah. What if we do a challenge thing here where I got to do this, and I like that it just comes from nothing. You're like an older game. I'm like, I got a game you can play. Did you ever get into Vanquish?
I have it on PC.
Have you played it?
I never beat it. I've got about 2 or 3 stages in.
What about Vanquish? It's a super fun game.
What do I have to do on it?
Fucking full trophies, full achievements.
It's on Steam then, but
but just all the achievements on Steam. I'm assuming they're the same thing. I can quick check, but
yeah, let's see.
All right, let's see. And you're gonna try on One Piece?
Yeah, the thing that sucks
scary,
is
Chris.
I know it's scary, but I got it for
super scary.
I got it for Pirate Warriors 2 or 3 or something, and I got it for the first one that came out for PS3. So yes, scary, like given Japanese, given RPG ish, I completely understand, but
they do look the same. They do look the same for Vanquish.
Yeah.
How about also this like Chris platinums things like their like lunch.
Yeah, but Vanquish.
But
Vanquish is doable.
Okay.
You did it, right, Chris?
I did all of them except for one.
Oh. And,
so
and the other one's going to be, sorry to interrupt, the other one's going to be awful for Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like I'm trying to find a way where it's
even.
Yeah, and what's the what are those two things like? Equitable, not whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, equivalent sort of thing.
What's the term I'm looking for? Not equal, fair, not equal, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, do you want to just do it only counts if you full finish, or is it based on percentage of trophies, or what?
I mean, we can try all achievements. My only thing is like, in my limited playtime, I kind of want to spend it all on Destiny 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You could give a longer time limit by the end of a certain time, like the end of the year or something. Even it doesn't matter. I don't want a situation where you both fail, or like secretly agree to fail or something like that.
So is it just a race then?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't mind.
You don't.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a gentleman's thing. Like if you do it at any time, like I'll as long as whatever before the
be like
we'll buy a game.
Keenan be like, fine, no problem. I'm sick of this goddamn game. There's some good ones on here, Keenan.
There is. I mean, I gave you some more. One of them is pretty tough.
it scares me for One Piece World Traveler for you because like I imagine like there will be multiple characters you gotta do all sorts of crap for, and that's
you could do a veto like we're doing.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, because if it's anything like I think it was Pirate Warriors 3, there was one like because Austin and I played through and we've got all of them but one.
Yeah, I know which one. It's a nightmare.
Total fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and maybe one veto would be okay for Vanquish, considering you didn't get all of them, Chris. You missed out on one, and then you get a veto for One Piece.
Do you want to do that one, Ken?
Sure.
Gives you more leeway. Because you don't want to kill it. You don't want to be. You want it to be kind of fun. You don't want to be like, I hate this game.
Is there a bonus for
you don't want
not using the veto?
I'm not giving you a second game for not using the
veto. No. I don't expect that. That's not what I'm saying.
Some sort of like a carryover power, like a future veto, where you get to add another veto.
Either that, or if it's like DLC pack or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you can play DLC for a game you're already like bored out of your skull getting a platinum trophy on.
It could be for.
Well, it doesn't have to be DLC for this game. It could be for another.
The thing that sucks though is I know Vanquish is a super fun game, and World Seeker might be garbage. So I'm taking a bit of a chance on this one because Vanquish is super solid.
Yeah, I think Chris is taking a hit for this.
I'm trying to make it fair though. I'm trying to make it fair because I agree that that's kind of something that I do, right? So do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
All right.
You have to pick a date at some point, but think about it. Maybe by next
week. What about you, Chris? What'd you do this week? You're the only one who will have to talk this week.
I didn't play a ton. I'm busy with other stuff. I started reading The Fisherman. Have you read that, Tim?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
Yep.
So far so good.
Mm-hmm.
So far I'm interested more in like the human drama part than I am the actual horror part.
Yep.
But it seems okay. I finished one up last week and the week before called Mapping the Interior, I want to say. And it was fine. For video games, just Destiny 2. I played a bunch. I don't know. I'm not fully sold yet. There's some things about Destiny 2 that I really, really don't like. There's some things that they maybe not changed, but it still feels okay. So when Destiny 1 came out, it was super fun. I loved everything about it. Like literally every single thing about it I loved. I didn't mind grinding. I didn't mind like it used to be a mess and it didn't matter. I loved everything about it. And then they introduced Eververse. Eververse is the like in-game store. They use real world money to buy stuff. You can get some stuff otherwise, but I remember having lots of conversations at that time about it being a slippery slope that I didn't want to go down. And I feel like Eververse, I agree. And I know, Tim, that you had said that Eververse is not as bad as it was at Destiny 2's launch. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. I feel like there's parts of this game that I am not fond of, though. So say, we had a discussion about seals and having to do, it's kind of like getting a platinum trophy for a part of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And looking at those, if it was just grinding it out, then great. But it really, really rubs me the wrong way that like there is some level of RNG involved for all of them.
Yep.
I really don't like that.
It's like one of the number one complaints about people who play the game, and I don't understand. I mean, what can they do? Are they going to go back and change them now? No, I guess they can't because.
But there's space for like 3 more though, right?
Yeah.
And so as long as the new ones are not the same, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels very grindy still, and I know that that's the point of Destiny, but it feels like exploitive grindy.
Yeah, I could see that definitely.
And I don't feel, and maybe it's just like I say, maybe it's rose tinted goggles, but I don't think that Destiny 1 really felt so much like that. And so for the same reasons I quit Destiny 2, I still have those same problems with Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm undecided because I like playing it. I really, really enjoy playing it. I like playing with everybody, and you know, it's still super fun, but it just, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way in some ways.
Fair enough.
I think it's always gonna have that sort of taint to it. Like I don't know how it's gonna purge it out for you ever, but it might be just something that we'll have to try and figure out how to ignore. It's the only way to get through it.
Yeah. It's it feels like I mean, and it does. It's funny because everything I say, I'm like, it feels like this, and absolutely that's what it is. It's just a matter of whether I want to deal with that or not. So say the other thing that I was struggling with is that it eats up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make any progress with anything, you got to log those hours, you know? And I'm not sure I'm at a point in my life where I'm comfortable sinking this many hours into one thing that I struggle with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of stuff I like to do, and this kind of takes up the time that I could be doing those other things. Not to say like video games, because you know, maybe it's other video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold yet, but I'm also not out. So we'll see what happens after next week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, this is the thing too. Like, I feel exactly the same way. I feel like I should be maybe not playing as much in these games because there's a ton of other things I should be looking out for with regards to work and stuff. But at the same time, like this is stress relief for me, and like the whole reason why we even said like let's go play Destiny was because we said we wanted to play with each other, and we've only played, I don't know, like an hour of Gambit together, which is their new mode in Destiny 2. But like we haven't really done that, and that was the whole purpose, right? The whole reason for it. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, let me get to that place, and then let's all play together, and then like I'm that's the experience I'm looking for, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
I get you.
I'm trying to ignore it. I'm trying to ignore it, or I'm trying to just get through it, or just like getting into it again, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like I don't feel compelled to do all the weeklies and all the dailies to maximize my gear limits and things like that. Like that's just not. It's not fun. Like it's not a it's a dick measuring contest in some ways about how much time you want to sink in this game, and that's I don't feel like that's necessary for me in my life anymore.
I'm gonna somewhat disagree with you there and say that I'm more than happy to do that. I really, really enjoy doing like the weekly stuff and maximizing whatever. It just it put a huge damper on it when they said about being able to level up super fast, which I guess is good. But now there's all this content that I'm just not going to do because it's not going to push me towards that maximization, right?
It's not worth it because you're going to sink all this time and then it's just going to become obsolete again, right?
That's right.
That's what happened when, okay, so when I first got back into Destiny 2, first thing I said to you guys was, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, go ahead, like use your free light level thing to boost your guy up to 300. Okay, now what do I do? Well, you can do this and this to get yourself up until the right level to so that you can access the rest of the content and everything. Okay, so I go do it that and that. It's just like and so it's just basically churning through the story, getting through all of that stuff. None of the weapons matter because all of it's going to be replaced. Is anything feel good to be shooting it? It doesn't matter because like I'm just going to pick up another gun anyways. That's going to be way more powerful. So the thing that I picked up like a hour or two ago, like it doesn't matter. So it's like just things don't matter, and it's just okay.
WoW was a lot like that too. If you jump in, like I jumped into WoW like multiple times, like way behind everybody, And part of it's frustrating too, because you're like, I want to check the story stuff out, but then everyone's like, "Ah, just skip past all that and come like my friend literally was like, I'll you can have an extra whatever level up thing that I have in my account, and I'll give you one, and you can just level your app to max." And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to I like the journey, but then also the journey isn't really designed that way anymore, and like it's weird, right? Because you're behind everything, and you're sort of trying to get through everything so you can join up with everyone else, and all the gear is useless, and yeah.
I feel like it's almost worse for me because I used to be there, right? Like I used to be the guy that was at the top of everything, and like it's great and I enjoy it, and it's, you know, all of those things are fine, but it's frustrating to come back and have everybody else still have played and still working through tons of stuff. And I feel like I'm playing catch up, but to catch up, I need to sink a ridiculous amount of time, and I'm not totally convinced that I'm ready to do that. I also feel a little bit torn because I did everything in the first one and part of Destiny 2. Like, no amount of work is going to get me to the point where I'm caught up. And it bothers me a little bit. So say like with the seals, it's something that it shouldn't bother me as much as it does. But because there's no chance of me getting those seals, it's a bit of a turnoff because I don't really have anything to work towards. Like there's stuff I can work towards, but the thing I'm working towards, I don't really care about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it'd be cool if seals were attainable. Definitely.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just a little thing.
Sounds like
new seals will be more fun and doable.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if they will. But people have been complaining about this for ages. So if they don't get it by now, people are going to lose their minds.
But why do you expect that they will get it? Like Bungie's so fucking tone deaf.
Yeah, no, they're not great. They're not great, but they have been listening to some things. So. But they are very slow to change too.
I do not trust them at all.
Things don't get patched that are super OP for ages, and people are like, "This is like ridiculous." Like they addressed some other thing when they should have addressed another thing before.
But how can you trust Bungie to do anything? Like they're just.
I don't really, but I'm hopeful.
But even being hopeful, I think, is foolish at this point. Like they just, I don't know.
I'm still having fun with it though. So it's
oh yeah, for sure, and that's what I mean. Like not to downplay it and say like it's just you can't really expect them to do anything good because they're fucking useless. And so it's like I totally get wanting things to be good, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Or at least like just keep your expectations low, and then like hopefully they will meet them, because it's like we want the best out of a lot of different things, but like it's difficult for us to say what they should prioritize and what they should like balance out, because it'd be nice if they don't have to like cater to certain things in certain ways, but they've already made systems in there, and it's not easy for them to probably pull them out, you know. It's like, and maybe that's a fundamental problem, and like, but then like if you're saying like we need a overhaul on some of these things, like it's always difficult when we start like backseat driving some of this stuff. That's why I'm like, okay, we'll leave it as it is. However they do it or don't do it, we just evaluate and say if it's good or not, and like hopefully nothing that they do will be so big of a turnoff that it'll completely ruin you of the game. So like I don't know, like I'm just trying to say like let's I want to focus in. The whole point of it still is me playing with Tim and Chris is the whole point.
Yes.
Like, why I'm back in here.
That's how fucking terrible was Anthem's launch?
It's bricking PS4s apparently.
I was just gonna say,
but that I don't know if it's bricking them. But like even when I was playing with Gareth that one night, he had like a full-on shutdown. Like his entire thing went like straight dead.
And there's people complaining like today that it is straight up bricking their systems.
I mean, it's probably a low chance of a brick when you have a game that can shut your whole system down suddenly, right? Like that might rarely cause that. I don't know. Anyway.
It still sounds pretty garbage.
Cursed game, Anthem.
Yeah. Jeez. And then like, I mean, that's the other thing. Like we look at the other stuff that was coming out that was supposed to be fun multiplayer stuff, and it's great thing that we didn't go play Anthem for a long time, because what if we got bricked PS4s because of that? Like, I mean, at least
I like that the bar is set so low that if it doesn't break your PS4, then it's worth playing. Fucking video games. Maybe I'm gonna quit video games altogether.
Ha ha.
Hey, we made it all the way till March.
Without quitting video games.
On that note, have a good week.
Don't quit video games yet. Talk to you next week.
Chris, you gonna do your thing?
What's my thing?
You're the one who always, you haven't figured it out at this point. You're the one who always says the end of the show.
What?
Yeah, you always do.
He actually started off this podcast by saying he wasn't doing that this week.
He did.
How did I finish it?
But you were late coming in.
I don't know. You do it. It's magic. And then I say something, and then Keenan says something, and that's it.
But you stole my line. So that's it. Have a good week.